Well, Microsoft founder Bill Gates might actually be cooked at this point. We're going to talk about it coming to light. Not only did he have strong ties to Jeffrey Epstein, but he also apparently lied about some Russian girls, and he had to apologize to the Gates Foundation for that. And this would also explain why he wasn't at that AI summit.
Oh, you said you thought it had to do with Epstein files.
Yeah, they didn't know for sure what was going on, but they said that they believe it had to do with stuff that came up during the investigation to Epstein. And yeah, it's not looking good. Larry Summers resigned from Harvard the day after Gates was questioned about his Epstein connections. And of course, Prince Andrew's getting arrested and all this other crazy stuff. And the dominoes are falling over.
And while I get Gates isn't part of Microsoft anymore, he's still associated with it.
He is the face of Microsoft.
Microsoft has had so much bad publicity as of late.
Yeah.
This is not going to help.
Not at all. So yeah, he was denying I didn't get anything from the Russian government. Yeah, well, we're gonna talk about this because it's a mess. I think this is gonna end with him possibly stepping down from the Gates Foundation. I think this is gonna end with Microsoft distancing themselves from him, and it's just this is the way his career is gonna end. And
I don't know. It does not look good.
It doesn't look good. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Now, people get mad at me, and I don't really care. No offense, but they get mad at me because when I do the Microsoft videos, because I'm talking about how Windows 11 is such a complete shit show and Copilot's a shit show. I use Bill Gates' face. And people are like, why use Bill Gates' face? He's no longer with Microsoft. I'm like, he still is for most people. He still is the face of Microsoft.
Yeah, that's what they associate. Yeah.
Like Steve Jobs is always going to be the face of Apple. People know Steve Jobs over Tim Cook, right? And that's why I do it. And his DNA is in Microsoft, and apparently his DNA was all over some Russian girls too.
I was going to say it's all over the place. But
so yeah, I remember him denying it. Now it's coming out. This is yeah.
Beyond that, Microsoft in general, their stock just keeps dropping. Like, a few months ago it was $500. Now it's like $400.
Yeah, well, people are not happy with the AI push, and
I think that's a big part of it. Yeah,
and that's all Satya Nadella. And actually, Bill Gates, to his credit, told the current CEO of Microsoft that he was going to burn billions of dollars on AI. Now he's come around lately, I guess, but. I think
he comes around a lot, from my understanding.
Yeah, around, underneath, on top.
We're assuming.
He's pretty old. I don't know, but it's just like So I think Microsoft is going to blow themselves up. I think they're chasing AI. They want to turn Windows into Copilot and just have AI everywhere. They just put one of their AI people in charge of Xbox and gaming, and they don't know anything about games. They just know AI, and it's going to be a disaster. But this is not going to help, because regardless of who's in charge of Microsoft now, everybody still associates Bill Gates with Microsoft. So this has come from the New York Post. Inside Bill Gates' sordid affair with Russian Mia Antonova and the dark links to Epstein. Okay, so I don't know how you pronounce her name, but I'm guessing. So one of two Russian women Bill Gates admits to having affairs with during his 27-year marriage was helped financially by Jeffrey Epstein, who used the sordid secret to blackmail the Microsoft co-founder. Damn!
Well, was he blackmailing him when he was still there?
I don't know.
And was he having these affairs when he was still there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, then it is relevant to Microsoft.
It is, yeah. So Gates' surprise on Tuesday was a questionable attempt to cleanse his image over his friendship with Epstein, in which ex-wife Melinda French Gates largely blames for destroying their marriage. So she's saying the reason they got divorced was because Bill was really good buddies with Epstein. Wow. I did have affairs, one with a Russian bridge player and one with a Russian nuclear physicist, the billionaire told staff at a town hall for his Gates Foundation, according to the Wall Street Journal. Gates admitted to the affairs while maintaining that he did nothing illicit with his now dead pedophile pal. Wow.
Wow, that was interesting writing.
Wow.
So what was that from? 2000, what's this picture here?
This picture was from 2009.
And that was one of the ones he had an affair with?
Yeah. Yeah. So, however, rumors of the fling with the bridge player first emerged over her own ties to Epstein. Ones featured heavily in damning exchanges in the Epstein files. Gates was 53 when he was first pictured with Antonova, who was in her 20s, at a national bridge event in Washington, D.C., where the Russians suggested they had less than romantic introduction. I didn't beat him, but I tried to kick him, she said. It's not known when their affair started or how long it lasted. One of Gates. Wow.
I was going to say Bill Gates has been the CEO for a while, but he still was on the board until like a few years ago. So he would have been doing this while he was still associated with Microsoft. Yes.
Yeah. One of Gates' main advisors and confidants, Boris Nikolic, introduced her to Epstein in 2013 when he'd already been convicted of child sex offenses, as she sought help getting money to start an online business to teach people how to play bridge.
Okay.
What? This is like, what? This is like some Cold War, like World War II shit. Like, what?
It's kind of reminded me of like when they were investigating where monies and funds were going with Doge and stuff, and they were finding out some of these Democrats had like these programs to teach people how to do really stupid things in other countries just so they can get money, and that's what it kind of reminds me of.
Oh yeah, like knitting for trans Ethiopian farmers or something.
Like that. Yeah.
It's like, wait, what?
And I needed money.
Yeah, I need money for that. It's like Steve Martin in The Jerk, where they come to him asking for money for ridiculous shit, and he just like gives all his money away. That's what the Gates Foundation was about. I remember they were all like, "Oh, Bill Gates is going to give all his money away. Him and his wife," and it's he's covering for shit. Epstein paid Antonova so she could attend a programming camp as part of helping her pursue a career in software development, and then she initially refused to confirm the affair with Gates in 2023. Epstein agreed to pay, and he paid directly to the school, she explained. Nothing was exchanged. I don't know why he did that. When I asked, he said something like he was wealthy and wanted to help people out when he could. I'm sure she made it up to him. He appeared to have a far more sinister motive and tried to force Gates to pay him that money and more under the threat of exposing his cheating to his then wife. Interesting.
Here's the thing. If you don't want to be blackmailed, don't cheat on your wife.
Yeah.
Or husband.
A Gates spokesperson previously claimed Epstein tried unsuccessfully to leverage a past relationship to threaten Mr. Gates. In a July 2017 email, which he definitely was associated with Microsoft back then, released by the Department of Justice, Epstein also made a string of allegations against Gates, branding his one-time friend so cheap the way that he treated his mistress. After I sent that note, she said she had little money, so she couldn't even afford an air conditioner, was living on a friend's couch, so I sent her some money. Your friend Bill is nuts, Epstein continued in the typo-filled rage. His former girl can't afford air conditioning, can't afford to travel to bridge. The richest man in the world is so cheap his former bridge girl and toy lives on a friend's sofa. This is gonna get real, and this is just the tip of the fucking iceberg. Like,
don't say tip with Gates, because I don't want to think about any kind of tip involving Bill Gates.
Gates never paid Epstein, despite threats of his cheating being exposed. Antonova previously insisted she was clueless about his despicable behavior when he helped her. I had no idea he was a criminal or had any alternative motive. Again, this is like a Cold War thriller.
Motive. No one just helps you for the goodness of their heart, just because they can't give. And we're talking like the amounts of money they're talking. No one just does that because you're you and there's no ulterior motive.
Wow. Melinda, a Gates Foundation co-founder who shares 3 adult children with the tycoon, does not appear to have commented about her ex's cheating confessional. She previously admitted how hard it was each time new revelations came out. For me, it's personally very hard when those details come up, right? Because it brings back memories of some very, very painful times in my marriage. Whatever questions remain there of what I can't begin to know, all those questions are for those people. My husband, they need to answer those things, not me. So yeah, it's answer for those things, not me. So yeah, it's not looking good for him. This is the BBC 8 hours ago. Bill Gates took responsibility over Epstein ties and staff meeting. He denied it. He was like denying it. I denied I had an affair, blah, blah, blah. He's 70 now. He said he's not been accused of wrongdoing by any of Epstein's victims. The Wall Street Journal reports that Gates said it was a huge mistake to spend time with Epstein, but insisted he never spent any time with victims, the women around him, just the other women that he was paying.
Yeah, I was just there, but I wasn't around any of the victims.
I didn't inhale.
Yeah, I didn't.
What the hell? I apologize.
I swear.
I apologize to the other people who were drawn into this because of the mistake that I made, he told staff, according to the U.S. newspaper, which said it had viewed a recording of Gates' remarks. It reported that Gates said images of him with women whose faces are redacted included in these so-called Epstein files were pictures that the late financier asked him to take with his assistants after their meetings.
Well, it's possible, and then it's possible, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to use this to blackmail you."
Right.
I mean, but also, how dumb are you to agree to it? To agree to have your picture taken with people like
Yeah, Gates told the foundation staff he met Epstein in 2011, years after Epstein pleaded guilty to soliciting a minor for prostitution.
So you already knew he was like.
You already knew he was a creep, adding that he was aware of some 18-month thing that had limited his travel, but that he didn't properly check his background according to the report. You are the richest. What?
The way they were going with all their philanthropic endeavors, and they were like constantly knowing about everything, and that there's no way in hell. I started hanging out with this person. I heard about an 18-month thing, but I never checked them out. Just your security alone would have checked him out for if that's their job to keep you safe. That doesn't make any sense.
Unless he's too cheap for security. No, you're the richest.
I doubt it.
You're the richest man in the world. Why are you palling around with a convicted creep?
And you didn't check his background. I don't
bullshit.
buy it. I agree. Bullshit.
There might not be a record of it, but bullshit. There's no way you didn't know. The guy's all over the news.
Yeah, not just that. Like, people that he associated with, other people he was around, were people that were tied to him too. They would have known. I'm sure he heard stuff. Bullshit. And then you hear stuff that's enough to make you check. I don't buy that for a minute. In my opinion, that's crap.
Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. So, okay, he continued to meet Epstein through 2014 and spent time with him abroad, he said, adding that he never stayed overnight or visited Epstein's island.
But he would have known about it, and he still hung out with him.
3 years he's hanging out with this guy?
Even if you didn't know when you started hanging out, you can't tell me after 3 years, and it came up, you didn't know about it. That was never mentioned. You were never invited, and you didn't know. Bullshit. And you continued to hang out there.
The relationship continued even after his ex-wife expressed doubts. He is reported to have said, adding, to give her credit, she was always kind of skeptical about the Epstein thing. Yeah, if I went to you and said, hey, there's this convicted pedophile. Hey, we're going to hang out together, and then we're going to travel abroad. Are you okay with that, honey?
And I'd be like, okay, well, don't come home.
Right? Epstein told him he had links with other billionaires and suggested he could help raise money for charitable causes Gates was engaged with.
Why wasn't his wife with him then? If you're there to raise money,
the Gates Foundation,
for the Gates Foundation, which she was part of, why would he be going around the world and with him and not bringing her too? You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense.
He's done. They're gonna boot him out of his own foundation if they can. A spokesperson for the Gates Foundation said in the statement this was a scheduled town hall with employees, which Bill does twice a year. Yeah, and Bill just happened to nope out of the AI summit when he's all about that. Yeah. In the conversation, Bill answered questions submitted by foundation staff on a range of issues, including the release of the Epstein files, the foundation's work in AI, and the future of global health. Is that where he mentioned the STDs?
I don't know. Yeah.
In the town hall, Bill spoke candidly, addressing several questions in detail and took responsibility for his actions. He's
taking responsibility for stuff you know about. I'm sure there's lots more you don't know.
Yeah, they divorced in 2021 after 27 years of marriage. Usually if you can get past the first 7 to 10, you're doing pretty good. You start a foundation together. You've got more money than you can possibly spend. And you're going to go hang out with your pedophile friend overseas. Yeah. Yeah, Bill. You didn't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit. In an interview with an NPR podcast earlier this month, she said the latest release of files dredged up painful times in my marriage.
I'm sure it did.
I'm so happy to be away from all the muck, she said, adding elsewhere in the interview, whatever questions remain, it's basically those questions are for the people and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer for those things, not me. So they said, U.S. media reported that before their separation, Melinda had been upset about her husband's association with Epstein.
Yeah.
After their split was announced, Bill Gates acknowledged having had an affair with Microsoft employee in 2019.
So who hasn't he had an affair with? We got a couple Russian chicks, this Microsoft employee.
Let's see. In his reported remarks to staff on Tuesday, Gates said he met with 2 women with whom he had affairs with through his own social and business activities. Follows claims made in emails drafted by Epstein in 2013 and contained in the files released in January that Gates contracted a sexually transmitted infection
STD.
and tried to hide it.
He cares about world health, guys.
So I'm waiting for people to look at this and just be like, their takeaway is like, oh, he touched a Russian. They're the bad guys.
I don't know. I'm just more like, they said that he claimed he said that he was trying to hide it from his wife. He says it didn't happen.
One draft email is written as a resignation letter from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and complains about having had to procure medicine for Gates in order to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. Well, Mr. Gates acknowledges the meeting with Epstein was a serious error in judgment. No, this is after.
Wait. It was a serious error in judgment that he continued to do repeatedly over the course of several years.
Yeah, he
Which
denies.
one was a lapse in judgment?
He denies any improper conduct related to Epstein and the horrible actities in which Epstein was involved.
I was just hanging out with him.
I was hanging out with him for
vibes.
3 years.
Yeah.
After he was, it's not even like I was his friend before, and oh shit, I didn't know he was into this stuff.
No, he was convicted on the one thing about the underage thing before.
Okay.
And then, but during the time he was hanging with him, this other stuff would have been coming out, or would have been going on. I mean, come on, dude. What kind of bullshit? How dumb do you think people are?
I think this is gonna go a lot further than it has. I think there's a lot more going on here. But regardless, I think I can totally see Microsoft and the Gates Foundation just distancing themselves from him completely. So
yeah, it's a mess. I would, but this whole thing is just like, holy shit. But like Microsoft already has so many bad things around it already with all the AI stuff and the Copilot and all that crap and the Windows shit, and then this, and they're like, yes, he's not there anymore. Yes, but he's still like, everybody thinks Microsoft. You think Bill Gates? Sorry.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
Yeah,
he's gonna be an always, like you said, Steve Jobs is past, but that's still people think of. He's always gonna be what's associated with it.
Yep. So there you go, guys. We'll keep an eye on this. So we're gonna wrap it up.
Yes.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.